Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Monday, it's June 6th. This will be our chart lesson. And you can somewhat tell that the summer doldrums have kind of set in. The volatility's been really, I wouldn't say it's necessarily weak, but it's definitely off from what we were seeing earlier in the year. I mean, this is half the price action we'd see on some of the days, less than half really. So it has slowed down. We're kind of in the summer months. Still plenty of trades here, but we're not seeing the 15 or 20 trades a day we were seeing back a few months ago. So, but anyway, it was an uptrend here. We had a break, moved to a new high, and then we sold off after that. This was a fairly large break before we attempted a retest, but that happens sometimes. So um, you have to take the good with the bad. Um, but anyway, let's back out. We'll talk about the trades. Won't take long because there weren't a lot of them. So you can see we were working up. The first trade I saw was this pullback to the EMA, and this was a perfect setup. These are the kind you like to see. Uh, Notice the trend line working down. You get a break, a move to a new low, and where does that low stall? Right at the trend line. That's a key entry point. You can see that trend line was very easy to find off those first few swings, and we bounced right there. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. Just put your stop there and go long. And if you could catch a runner on this one, which you may or may not have, you probably could have this second one. You can ride this all the way to the upper side of the channel, and you might have want to hang on, but generally I would exit this on the other side of the channel and then look for another entry. So nice entry there, and then you get a pull back here that pulls back to the EMA. It turns down first and then turns and goes out the other side. There's plenty of room to get out there. Just have a stop waiting there, or you may let it break higher and drop a limit order in there. You could have gotten filled a tick or so back in this bar, or you could have gotten filled right there with a stop. Um, but you should have had your buy stop just sitting there waiting, and when it turned and went back out the other side, you'd have been filled, and you could have ridden this all the way to the top. But notice we get a little overshoot up here. We turn down, and actually it may not have been an overshoot. The line may have been right here all along, and then you really don't get an overshoot. I really figured that it was down here, and it was treating this like an overshoot. But it doesn't matter either way. You get the trend working back. You get a close outside. It tries to make a new low and it can't. It's tempting to go long right there, but you don't have that new low yet. So I would wait on that failed second entry short, which comes here. And notice that looks like a great short setup, but you know not to go short here. This is a rally. And so when it broke lower and turned and went up and closed, I'd just have a stop. I'd put me a stop right there. It was a quick, easy move. Then it comes back and it keeps going higher. But you probably wouldn't have got any runners on this. So we weren't quite back to the EMA. So without that trap there, I would not enter. But notice that's a double bottom. That's a first entry, a second entry, and then it reverses. Look how bullish that is. There's plenty of room before that high there. And I didn't show this earlier, but I would have measured those first two swings there and looked for a measured move there. And that's another reason I like entering here, because we aren't quite to the measured move. And we don't get that measured move until the retest, and we actually go a little higher than that on the retest. So, but you can see this is starting to lose momentum because it starts going more sideways here. Notice how strong that went up, and then we start kind of going sideways. But what you're looking for is for it to come to one side to the other, and the fact that we overshot, which maybe we really didn't, but at the time I thought we did, means you may get a break in here. So, but then we get another. This is still basically a double bottom. It tries to go lower a couple more times. So again, this is a failed second entry short here. And as soon as it broke higher, it was anyway. So this turned down, reversed, went out the other side. I like just having a stop there. Or you could have let it break above this one and try the limit order further back in here. You wouldn't have got filled till this pullback. And by then, I don't know if I would have still hung on and let it fill it or not. So I would have just had to stop there and let it fill me. That was another quick, easy move. And then we just pull back here. This one's a little iffy because this is a fairly bullish bar, and it does drop below that little double bottom and turn up. So you could have gotten filled there on the stop, and you would have gotten just enough movement to get out. But this is a first entry. There's a lot of sideways stuff here. We're losing momentum, you can see, because each push is going a little less higher, and you basically barely have enough room to get out of this one before that high. So I think it's a little aggressive. Somebody else sent me his chart asking about it as well, and he had a bearish bar here, so I definitely don't like it on his, although he had a failed second entry short. Notice there's a new swing low there, so there's a first entry, second entry, but it never makes a higher high here, so it's not real strong. It is right at the key entry point, the EMA, so there's some reasons to want to enter there, but you better be real careful on that entry. It was just enough to get out, and then the bottom fell out of it, so I really don't see a chance to go short here. There is a short right at the EMA, right at the trend line here, but it's a good bit away from the EMA, and it's so close to that bottom. I don't think I risk that. Generally, I would like to go long back to the EMA here, but this bar is too big, and this bar is too bearish. So you don't really get a shot to even ride this back to the EMA. But look what happens. It pushes right back through the EMA, it pulls back and tests it and gives you a bearish bar. That's a failed second entry long. I like going short right there. I'd be looking for a measured move, and we got actually much more in there. There's your measured move, and you actually got a couple of points further down than that. So this was a really nice move, and any runners would have been safe as well. So that was a nice setup. And then it bounces, and again, you might have been thinking about riding this back to the EMA, but it's almost a repeat pattern. Look how bearish. And then this is not real bullish, though. It is still a good way from the EMA, but it's not a very good setup bar. It's just kind of an inside bar to this big negative bearish bar, and it doesn't even close on its high. So again, I don't think you want to risk that, because it could have ticked higher and turned down and trapped you out and then gone back. So, and that's what you got to be really careful of. But this is a spiking channel, and we're probably going to try to get that retest. We got two legs down now. They've probably trapped out most of the longs. They've got some people piling up on shorts. And so this is a reversal pattern. Look what happens. It shoots right back. Just like this was one, it shoots right through, comes back and does that little test of the EMA and turns down. Well, this is a reversal pattern here. It shoots right through the EMA, gets way above it, pulls back, gives you a second entry long with a bullish bar right off of the trend line. This is like a spiking channel here. And you knew your trend line based on those highs right there. You draw that across and drag it down, and it bounces right there. It's a nice bullish bar. It's a little close to that high, but it's nowhere close to. You got enough room to get out before these next two, and it's so bullish, and so you're probably going to get at least. I'd be looking for a measured move like this one, just in case. And you can see. We didn't quite get that. We missed it by maybe a tick there. So, but you got your break now. Two legs up to a new high. You did get a measured move. Looking at the early morning stuff, you almost had one here. Missed it by a tick, and then it corrects, and that gets you into the 2 o'clock hour. There was this is a double bottom, so this can be treated like a new low. First entry, second entry. That's a failed second entry short. It's not back to the EMA. There's not much room to that high, and that is the high of the day right there at that point. So it's a little risky, but it's a trap, and you figure we're going to get a new high in here, even though it doesn't have very far at all to go to do that. So it's just not a very good setup, to be honest with you. But it is a trap, and we are looking for a new high, so you might have taken it based on that. So I did make it green. And that was pretty much it for the day. So this setup here is very similar to what you had right here. So it's a little different context, but it's kind of a repeat type pattern. So that was another reason you might want to risk that one. But yeah, you can see the channel working up, the break. It's a two-legged break, and then two legs to a new high, and that was it for the day. So yeah, again, the volatility slowed down. The number of bars are slowed down quite a bit. I had this news item. It never disappeared today. So that was right around the 11:30 hour. So that's probably going to have a lot to do with this sell-off right here. Not sure why that didn't disappear today. But I'm sure that's going to have a lot to do with why this sold off here. But you can see the price action still holds true even during the news item. There's another little issue right here. I don't know why I have this little blue spot in here today, so I don't know what's going on with my chart today, but I was through trading long before that. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Not much else we can say about today. Again, it's probably going to continue to stay slow like this through the summer unless something crazy happens. But you'll get used to these kind of days, and the volatility will come back, and it'll be scary as heck. But I get people that started trading during that high volatility area, and they feel like they're sitting on their hands with this kind of market. But this is really more of a normal kind of day, to be honest with you. So, but the volatility will come back, and when it does, we'll be ready for it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.